Hey friends, I spent today at Pride, and I don't know if you can hear me because it's really loud, but I just want to say that I saw nothing but beautiful people today. Everywhere, all kinds of them. And the energy, getting to share that with people in the community at a time where so many different people and so many of us and the trans community in particular are being just insanely targeted and bullied. So that's not where I was trying to go with this, really, but it was nothing but love today. And seeing parents with their kids who were just here expressing themselves, and them being supportive. So many. When you're in the parade, you get to see everybody lined up on the sides and seeing just groups of kids. 10 to, 15-year-olds, just something that couldn't have existed, that did not exist when I was younger, and just seeing them out there and expressing themselves, being themselves, experimenting, whatever it may be. It's so powerful. I tried every time I passed a group of kids in particular. The more that I know people outside of this place right now would think they were weird looking or something, the more I sought them out, or just looking at them and being like, I love you. I mean it. And happy Pride, and thanks for coming out. And they need that, I know I need to say it. And I think about times right now are as bad as they have been for the community. Since I was quite young, I'd say since the late 80s, early 90s, with the AIDS epidemic and everything. There's a lot of hatred, and that's happening now. But I think if I'd been sitting there, and I don't know, I wish I would have had somebody who looks like me now to walk by in a parade, and look me in the eyes and be like, happy Pride, I love you, and thanks for coming. And I could tell they knew I meant it. And that's really important right now. If you have people in the queer community and LGBTQ+, whatever, if you do, they probably got another layer of hurt or fear and stuff going on. Not probably, they do. I don't know, I'm rambling, but just taking the time to look at somebody who needs to hear it. Those kids do not often hear the words, I love you. A lot of them, they definitely don't hear it from strangers. I don't know. I'm grateful for today. My heart and soul are filled up. We need more of that. Tell people you love them. Be nice. Be kind. Because I'm here, and haven't seen anybody today that I think is evil or violent or undeserving of existence. And I've seen a lot of trans and non-binary people today, and I know a lot of y'all don't like it, but to me it's beautiful, and it shouldn't be that hard for people to be able to just exist. Words have actions. Words have actions. Words and actions both have consequences. If you wouldn't say it to somebody's face, don't say it online. Know that we're all a lot more alike than we are different. And find those commonalities. Find humanity. It's there. It's who we are. And now, more than ever in my life, at 45, crazy to say that, but yeah, never, ever have we needed it more than now. I mean it. So if you're messing around, being ugly, hating on people, I don't care who, what party, what side, whatever, I don't care, but stop it. There's constructive, and there's standing up for what you believe in, and there's fighting for what is right, but there is also vile crap. And most of us know what that is, I think. And that's not where we're at. That's not what we can have right now. It's going to take grace, compassion, patience, a lot of listening, probably tears. There will be tears. But we can't be so afraid of those conversations and so afraid of I don't really want to go there. I don't want to have that conversation. I don't know. You know what? It's the time right now. Have the conversations politely. Make a outline. Do whatever you need to do. Just to be, so you can stick to points. Set some boundaries for your discussion. I don't really know exactly how to do that because I'm not always the best communicator, but man, use one of the, Google it or use ChatGPT or something, and they could probably really in 5 seconds, if that, 2 seconds, give you the best advice on how to relax and have that conversation. I get riled up, my buttons get pushed so easily, and I'm quick with my passions and the things I care about. The more I care about it, the quicker it is, and I'm working on that. We all are. I think we all should be. But we've got to try. We've got to try. We have got to attempt to reconnect. Growing up, I never thought of of America being some sided thing. I know the black people I grew up with and that grew up while in the same time I did that's a whole other thing. They definitely had a different experience and knew that there were sides. I think it was made abundantly clear, but right now, you know, we're here. People are worrying about sides. People are pointing fingers. Sorry, I got distracted there for a minute. Walking in a park, trying to talk to myself / whomever. ADHD. Yeah, but we have to find common ground, and we've got to try to talk to each other, and we have to be decent. And the last thing I think is, for my people in Tennessee, I say that mostly because a lot of you haven't seen them forever, and I know it's more rural, you know, than where I'm at in Atlanta right now. But if you know me, if you've known me throughout your life, you know, even if I haven't seen you in 20, 30 years, you know that, like, I think you know, I hope you know, and I've always felt like maybe people did, like, I'm not a hateful person. I'm not a violent person. I'm passionate. I care a lot. And I've gone to, you know, protests since my first one was when the war in Iraq was starting. I was living in LA and I went to a big protest, and I remember just being what it felt like to be in a crowd of people who were sharing the same energy as I was, that were cared about the things I cared about, and you know, that felt our government was lying to us and wrongly going to war. But from that protest on, I never forgot that feeling, and I try when I can to go to rallies and marches and protests and everything from, you know, a couple days in New York during Occupy Wall Street, and Black Lives Matter protests during all the awfulness after George Floyd was murdered, pride parades, you know, no kings, march for women, but you got to get out there, right? I mean, a lot of us feel like we have to. And if y'all know me, and if you've known me, and if, you know, those of you that love me, y'all know who I am, right? I think you know, at least deep down enough through whatever, even through years' time. I think if you've ever actually known me, even for a little bit, you would know that my intentions are typically good in nature. That I'm not a lunatic. You know, I'm not a violent person. I'm not gonna go out and start stuff at protests. I'm not gonna throw things at ICE or cops or anyone. I do not do that. And so if you know me, and if you know that to be true, okay, I'm going to tell you that when I go to protests, when I go to these things, I would say 99% every single time. I mean, some of them, that's not true. Some of them, it might be 94, 93%, I don't know. But the vast majority of people at these things are me. There are other people just like me who can't help it, who have to get out and say something, who have to stand up for things that they feel are wrong, for people being wronged, and for government overreach. Just some of us can help it. And I've been called Antifa over the years. I remember the first time I got called that, I had to like look it up. I'm like, what? I mean, it's not funny, but it's ridiculous. In the sense that never have I ever in my whole entire life, ever, anything ever, met a single person ever on my protests who've been like, oh, hey, I'm Antifa. And I mean, sure, maybe people keep that quiet if whatever that, but like never, ever. And I talk, you know, if you know me, you also know I talk to people. So Antifa is anti-fascist, is all that means. To the vast, I mean, that's what it means. And when you think about, when you see the news, when you watch TikToks and Instagrams and Reels and Facebook posts and YouTube videos, and you see things coming out right now, and please be aware of the spin, please be aware of media manipulation, and because try to remember, think about me, you know me, you trust me. So I'm going to tell you that the vast majority of people at those places, at these events, at these rallies and protests and marches are peaceful. Yeah, they're hollering with their signs, but they're not trying to harm, hurt anyone. Know that I mean that. So if they're trying to tell you that it's some crazy thing full of Antifa, whatever, they're calling me, I would be considered Antifa for going out and holding up signs, literally at this point. And they're calling that domestic terrorism. And they're working on trying to say that money is coming from outside of the US to make it foreign terrorist organization. I'm not a terrorist. I'm not similar to ISIS or Hezbollah or Hamas, as Christine Ohm said. I just care. And that's the majority of the people out there. So think about that where you are. Please think about that. Talk to your friends that you know that protest. You know, if you're real right-leaning, like, don't believe. I'm working on not believing a lot of the things that they're trying to tell me about you or the other side, you know? And I'm seeing it every day. I'm seeing the manipulation, the propaganda machine in a way I've never, ever, and it's happening. And so be cognizant. You know, you are what you eat. You are what you let your brain eat. Everybody's a lot cooler than we think they are, and we've got to reach out to each other, be kind, and have those conversations. Yeah, but right now they're going to try to make us out to be hardcore enemies, and they will arrest and detain and harm us as this whole Antifa thing goes on. And I need you guys to know that it's not true. It's gonna be a bunch of people like me, for the most part, out there yelling and screaming and talking about what they care about and fighting for the things that are happening, because being anti-fascist is like the most democratic thing you can be. You can't have fascism and have democracy. It is exactly what's America. It is the most patriotic. And right now, the fact that so much media and so many people in crazy positions of power are working very hard to convince you that being anti-fascism is a terrorist organization, that is wrong and super messed up. So when they're still sending National Guard and then troops, and when all this stuff starts going on, remember that. Remember who I'm telling you, to the best of my honest sincerity and knowledge, that it's a bunch of people like me. I'm not a radical.